Hi everyone, I trust I find you well this morning. This morning I have another message which is kind of different from the ones that I normally share, because most of the times when I share messages is things that that resonate with me, where I am currently and how I'm feeling, and the messages as I feel them within myself. However, this particular message is kind of like outside of my normal sharing, because it's a word that came to me, not from me or feeling it within my spirit. Yesterday, I'll tell you what happened. I was just up and about my usual, and I felt God saying this to me. And before I say it, I'll just say this to the people that are my friends and my family that are here on Facebook that don't believe like I do. I still love you. You still have value in my life. I'm going to share this specifically, targeting rather people that believe like I believe, because I believe it will resonate with them more. The message that God dropped in my spirit yesterday was simply, I am an unconventional God. And when he said that, I paused and I was like, wow, it sunk deep within my spirit. I was sharing with a friend that I felt like dancing, because unconventional is simply outside of the ordinary, not conforming to tradition or precedence or conforming to what is believed and what is known. I would say unconventional, like an outfit, not fitting in. So God said to me, I am an unconventional God. And as I was meditating on the message, I just felt to share it on this platform, because I believe it will resonate with one or two or more. And this morning, if you feel this message that I'm sharing resonates with yourself, I would like to encourage you. I'm not asking you to stop believing the way you are believing. I'm not asking you to stop the way you are living. I'm not asking you to change your beliefs. All I'm trying to encourage you this morning is I'm encouraging you to start expecting God. Start expecting God to show up in your life in an unconventional way, in ways that you do not expect him, through people that you have not met, from places that you have not been, because he is just that, an unconventional God. And this morning, it could be your financial situation, it could be your relationships, it could be your children, it could be your marriage, it could be a business partnership, it could be your health, it could be this COVID situation that we're dealing with. This coronavirus has paralyzed nations. Great nations have succumbed to this virus, and without any answer in the horizon, everyone is fumbling for answers. So we are in different places, I am aware of that, with different situations. But this morning, if you feel this message is for you, I pray that you take time to meditate on it, and that it can grow on you and in you, and you start appreciating that God is an unconventional God. He's going to show up in your life in ways that you have not known. The Bible says in the book of Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20, I will do exceedingly, abundantly, above, beyond what you ask or even think. That is the kind of God that he is this morning. It could be afternoon, it could be night, depending on your time zone. This morning, start expecting God to show up. I'll just cite a few examples. I know if I have to take all the examples that I have right now, it will take an hour plus. But I'll cite a few examples that many of us know. You know, when the children of Israel were at the Red Sea, with the armies of Pharaoh behind them, in the natural, there was no way out. In the natural, they were stuck, and that's why they're saying stuck between the rock and the hard place. You could be in that situation this morning, but as God showed up for the Israelites in an unconventional way, I pray he does that for you, and you find grace to start expecting him in ways that you have not known. I'll cite another example. You know the story of when they were at the wedding and Jesus was at the wedding. Actually, the Bible says that was his first miracle. They ran out of wine. Most of us that read the Bible know that story. They ran out of wine. and they didn't know what to do. And Jesus said to them, bring me water. And they brought him water in buckets, and he turned that water into wine. So this morning, God is able to do that for you. If you can find grace within yourself to start expecting him to bring solutions that are not known according to yourself or your experience or your relationships or your whatever you have that you have relied on. Another last example that I would like to share. You remember the story of Lazarus. The Bible says Lazarus was dead. It's dead as in D-E-A-D, dead. And he was buried. And the Bible says he was in a tomb. Not only was in a tomb, but he was in a sealed tomb. They sealed it with a hard rock. And Jesus showed up. And the Bible says Lazarus stepped out and he lived again. So this morning, my friends and my family, I would like you to be encouraged because this message, I felt it so timely. That's why I'm emboldened to share it with you this morning. You could be in a situation like Lazarus. There could be circumstances or areas in your life that are like Lazarus, in a tomb, dead and buried and hopeless, and you're feeling helpless. But know this morning that God is saying, I am an unconventional God. God will show up in a way that I've already repeated myself 5 times already to say God is going to show up in an unconventional way. I pray that you find grace to believe and start expecting him. And you may say, how do I expect outside of my thinking? All I'm encouraging you this morning is have that childlike faith. Don't start figuring out how it's going to happen, but start expecting. It's easier to expect than it is to think and try and figure it out. The Bible calls it childlike faith. You know, a little child, when you say, I'm going to bring you this, I'm going to bring you a toy, they believe and they sit at home excited and expectant. So I'm trying to encourage you and myself this morning. Let's start expecting God to show up in unconventional ways, in ways that we are outside our thinkology, if I can use or borrow that word, outside of what we know. And I pray he will show up in your life, and I pray you show up in my life. Be blessed. Have a lovely day. Love you all.